For this lesson, you need to open the sample file Headcount and Salaries 1 from your Sample Files folder. And I think I'll make a little bit more room on screen by double-clicking any of the ribbon tabs to minimize the ribbon. And now I can see all of the worksheet. This session's sample worksheet lists all of an organization's employees, along with their gender and department. We're going to use the sumif and countif functions to list the total salary and headcount for each department, along with the total salary and headcount for each gender. So I'll begin by clicking in cell B21 to compute the total salary for the sales department. For this, I'll use a sumif function. So I click Formulas on the ribbon. Sumif is in the Math and Trig group, so I click Math and Trig. I look for the sumif function, and then when I click, the function arguments dialog is displayed. First of all, the range. Where am I going to look to identify whether the employee is in the sales department or not? Well, it's column D, where I have the departments listed. And I'm now going to press the F4 key to make this into an absolute reference. Absolute and relative cell references were covered in depth in lesson 312 of the Essential Skills video in this series. If you're unsure about how to use absolute and relative cell references, you can download this lesson and watch the matching video free of charge from our website, learnmicrosoftexcel.com. I'm using an absolute reference so that later I'll be able to autofill this formula down to cells B22 and B23. So now I have the range set. What am I looking for within that range? I'm looking for the word sales. So for the criteria, I click in cell A21. Well, when I found the word sales in column D, what is the value that I need to add to the total salary? Well, it's the value in column C. So I'll select the range and once again press the F4 key to make the reference absolute. When I click OK, I can see that the sales department total salary is $179,898, and if I autofill, I can also see the purchasing total and the logistics total. And the total salary in B24, $391,056, is the same as the value in C18, proving the integrity of the calculation. Let's now calculate the headcount using a different function, the countif function. So I'll insert a countif function by clicking Formulas on the ribbon, and then More Functions, then Statistical, and in the statistical group you'll find the countif function. The countif function requires two arguments. First of all, the range, which is the same as before. It's the cell that identifies the department. And once again I press F4 to make this into an absolute range reference. For the criteria, it's what I'm looking for in that range, and that's the word sales. So I click on cell A21. And I can see that there are 6 employees in the sales department. I click OK and autofill to the end of the range, and can now see that there are also 5 employees working in purchasing and 3 working in logistics. Now let's turn our attention to the gender values. What is the total salary for male employees? Well, obviously it's going to be a sumif function, so I'll click Formulas on the ribbon, Function Library, Math and Trig, and there's the sumif function. I click and the function arguments dialog appears. This time I need to identify whether the employee is male or female, so the range is going to be B4 to B17, and I'll press F4 to make this reference absolute. That means I'll be able to autofill the function later on. Now the criteria, what am I going to look for in that range? I'm going to look for M, so I click on cell A27. And the sum range, where am I going to find a value to add whenever I find a male employee, is in the salary column. That's the values in column C, and once again F4 to make that an absolute reference. And when I click the OK button, I can see that my male employees had a total salary of $253,400 $587. And if I autofill, I can also see the female salary total, and the total of $391,056 proves the integrity of the calculation. Now let's calculate the head count. That's formulas on the ribbon, more functions, statistical, and there's the countif function. The range will once again be the gender in B4 to B17. And once again, press the F4 key to make that absolute. And for the criteria, it's the value in cell A27, whether the employee is male or female. I click OK and autofill, and I can see that 9 employees are male and 5 of my employees are female. I'll bring back the ribbon now by double-clicking any of the ribbon tabs, and all that remains is to save your work, and I'll save with the new name Headcount and Salaries 2, and as usual, I'll save to the folder above my sample files folder. I click the Save button, and you've now completed Lesson 3.6. Use the sumif and countif functions to create conditional totals.